In our last video, we talked about 4 things to put in motion to reignite that joy in your life. And in this video, we're going to talk about how Josh took those 4 things, actually did it, how it changed his life, but it also changed the lives of the others around him. So, you kind of hit it on the last video, Josh, as to kind of where you were 15, 20 years ago and kind of where you are today, and the impact it's had on the people around you. I really like you to just kind of share a little bit more about your journey and kind of, again, where you are today and kind of what you kind of seen in growth in yourself and really the others around you because of your commitment to, I'll just say, taking it to the next level.
That's such a loaded question. It really is. My journey. My journey started in 1981. I mean, that's literally where it all started. My parents got married younger, had me. My parents got divorced when I was 3. I grew up in a divorced home. My stepdad came into my life when I was 5. I grew up with an alcoholic father who liked to party and drink. He thought he was still 18, and even to this day, my dad will tell you, I'm not a good parent. Never have been, never was. My dad's a great man, don't get me wrong. He would give the shirt off his back to anybody to help him, but parent-wise, yeah. I looked up to my grandfather more than anything. My grandfather owned a successful tool and die company, very smart businessman, done very well for himself, and that's who I always looked up to. But growing up, in and out of a lot of counseling, trying to figure out how to deal with feelings, I didn't like it. I didn't like dealing with feelings. I started drinking at a young age.
How young were you?
I think I was like 9.
Oh boy.
9, 10. It's the first time I got drunk.
How'd that all start?
Watching a football game with my dad, drinking a Budweiser.
He let you drink?
Yeah. Why not? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with a 9-year-old child having a Budweiser? So messed up. But that's the life I grew up in.
That's where your habit really kind of started.
It is.
Drinking with your dad.
It is. I started realizing that alcohol was great at numbing things. And I was a binge drinker. I didn't drink every day. I didn't drink round the clock. I was more of a, if I felt something, good, bad, or otherwise, I needed to drink. Because if I had a feeling, I didn't want to feel it. Because if I felt it, it meant it was real. And if it was real, it was a problem. And if it was a problem, I had to deal with it. And I didn't want to deal with problems. I just wanted my life to be hunky-dory and good. Unfortunately, living that mindset, my life was anything but hunky-dory or good. It was a train wreck. Got married, had 3 kids, drank like a fish. I've even gone so far as to call my ex-wife and apologize to her for the things I did in our marriage, because I realized a lot of the things I was doing were just excuses to go to the bar and get wasted. Every time she would bring up something or pick a fight, I used it as an excuse to escalate it and take it to a whole nother level. I mean, like you said, like I've done now, I've taken my life to another level. Well, I do that all the time, whether it's with alcohol, drugs. There is no halfway.
If you're going to go hard.
There is no one foot in. It's
Yeah.
either I'm jumping both feet in and diving into the shallow end and hoping I don't hit the bottom, or I don't do it at all.
So you really implemented the 4 things we talked about in our last video. It was not living in the past.
Yep.
Not worrying about the future.
Yep.
Not getting your affirmation from other people. And really finding that inner strength. Go ahead.
That last one you mentioned.
The third one?
Yes.
Yeah.
The finding affirmation in other people. That was the thing I was constantly seeking. It was. And I realized that, I mean, I'm not saying I've been on this great journey for a long time, but it's been about 7 years that I've changed my perspective.
And you haven't been perfect through it all.
Absolutely.
You've probably fallen back a little bit.
Absolutely, I've fallen back. I still fall back because old habits die hard. There are times where I find myself wallowing in my own self-pity for a hot second. And it's kind of one of those where I need to smack myself in the face and have a hard reset and say, what are you doing again? Why are you falling back into old ways? Well, I'm falling back into old ways because it's simple. It's easy.
Yeah.
It's easy to fall back into old habits because, well, they're kind of monotonous and you just go through the motions. Having to change your life and change your perspective takes true work. And you have to commit to it.
And so when you say it takes true work, I mean, so maybe it's, you've gone to AA, right?
I've
That's
been in
been
AA
one
for
step.
almost 12 years now.
Okay.
In and out. I spent my first 3 years going every day. I went to an AA meeting every day.
And when
for
you
3
say in and
years.
out, I mean you're not saying that you had not committed to it. You've only gone when you felt you needed it over the past couple of
Correct.
years, right? And you live it out every day.
So something I learned early on in AA is you need to go to AA because AA helps you realize that you're not as broken as you think you are. Because there's other people there that are more broken than you. It's one of the few places I can go and tell my story about drinking 2 fifths of Crown Royal and doing 162 miles an hour on a sport bike, and they laugh.
Wait a minute. How did you know you did 162 when you had drank 2 bottles of Crown Royal? Like, how did you actually know that?
Because my bike has something on it called a Tadler. What it does is it registers max speed. So at any point in time that I take it out for a ride, it'll register that max speed and it'll store it.
Okay.
I've only gone maybe 120 on that bike ever.
Except for that night.
Except for that night. I woke up that next day in my room going, how did I get here? I walked out to my garage and I hit the button, turned my bike on and hit the button, and it said 162.
Now, is that the last time that you drank? Or it is?
Pretty much.
Okay.
I think I might have had a sip of a beer after that, and I was like, whoa, what am I doing?
Did something hit you like, I can't believe I'm still here?
I saw that 162 and I literally fell to my knees in my garage. I dropped. It's a tough one to talk about. I dropped because I just realized that I almost left my girls without a father.
Mm-hmm.
The most important thing to me in this world are those kids. And I realized that my choices had almost left them without one of the most important people in the world to them, is their dad. It's a sobering, realistic thing when you have to face your own mortality.
Mm-hmm.
When you have to sit there and go, I just did something that most people don't walk away from sober. And for some reason, I'm here. And I don't wonder what that reason is. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out that reason. And it's come to fruition. The reason that I didn't die that night is this right here. Because I'm not scared to show my emotion. I'm not scared to be real. I'm 6'5", 205. I'm covered in tattoos. I build houses for a living. And if you want to come try me, bring it. Mm-hmm. Be my guest. Because I will love you deeper and harder than anybody ever has. I'm not going to fight you. I'm going to love you.
Yeah, what I try to love about you too, and I've seen you do it to multiple people, and even in your, I'll say you're pulling out of your quote unquote darkest moment. I remember you telling me a story about seeing somebody on the road who was clearly drinking and driving. You didn't even know the guy.
Yeah.
And you pulled the guy over. You gave him a ride home.
Yeah.
You didn't let him drive, right?
Yep.
I mean, you probably saved that guy's life.
This
is the ripple effect. Finding your joy, but be willing to be ready for that
moment.
That one moment.
That moment. And,
right?
I was driving down 10 Mile. I'll tell this story because this one is a good one. Driving down 10 Mile on my way from Rockford to Coopersville. And I see this guy in a 2500 HD, and he's swerving and swerving. I'm like, man, that seems odd. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We come up to an intersection, and all of a sudden I watch him make a right turn. Last minute, he goes down in the ditch, up in this person's yard, back out of the ditch, back onto the road. And I went, no. Chased him down, got him to pull his truck over. And
chased him down. Yeah.
Bro, what? Hey, are you okay? And he's like, I'm tired, man. I'm falling asleep at the wheel. I said, hey, man, I'm not a cop. I'm not here to harm you. I'm not here for anything other than you're wasted. I can smell the whiskey from the outside of this truck. How about this? How about we park your truck right here on the side of the road? I don't care where you live. I don't care if you live 2 hours away. How about you get in my truck and I bring you home? Give me your keys. I'll leave them somewhere. Give me your phone number. I'll send you a text tomorrow morning where you can find your keys. And the guy kind of fought me for a second. And I said, bro, listen, I just want you to get home safe. I don't care about the cops. I'm not calling anybody. I just want to get you home. And he looked at me and he goes, thanks. I brought the guy home. Hid his keys for him. I texted him the next day where he could find his keys. Parked his truck on the side of the road, got him home safe. You know, we were talking about AA and how often I go. I go to AA when I feel I need it. And the reason is I live out AA every day in my life. And that's just one of those moments. I I didn't have to pull that guy over. I didn't have to stop. I could have let him go on his merry way and let him get busted by the cops or let him kill somebody or whatever it may be. But that's not what God kept me here for.
Well, and again, I think when we're in our deepest, darkest pit, one of the verses that stands out for me that I love is, right now, you do not understand what I'm doing, but in a little while, you will understand. It was a verse, really a quote from Jesus. Don't even think of that in those moments. With all the stuff that you've been through, you realize, okay, I understand why I went through what I went through.
You would
to some degree.
Think so, but at the end of the day, I don't pay attention to it. I don't. Because if I focus on the past, now I'm staring up in that rearview mirror and I'm not looking at the future.
Okay, all right.
Do I step back every now and then and go, does something happen that brings me back to that place? Okay. Absolutely. And that's one of the reasons I continue to go to AA, is because when I go to AA, every now and then there's a newcomer. And a newcomer has to come in and kind of tell their story, and our job is to tell them our story.
Well, and again, that's my point.
It brings me back.
We kind of talked about this in previous videos. You know, your deepest, darkest moment is a setup for something greater in your life. So much greater in your life. So I only look at it from that perspective. Now you understand maybe what the setup was for. I mean, you went through what you went through. You could be there for the guy who was on the road, the guy in AA, and I'll kind of give you the lead here for me,
everybody.
And what about and lastly, what about the ripple effect on your family? We talked about that earlier. You got a text here, last week from you had sent me from your daughter.
Let me find this
I thought it was pretty impactful, kind of what you had said to me, in that. Her reaction to, and if I'm not mistaken, it was tied to her graduation party that's coming up here. And
yes.
You had a friend of yours who was maybe debating about not showing up for the party. I think he said he was just going to send her some cash.
Yes.
And she was like, you know what, I have a different perspective on it. And she popped you a text that really kind of hit you emotionally.
It did.
And
it did, because of the ripple effect this had. So the person that she had sent this message to is a long time, I basically call him my little brother. He's someone who's been in and out of recovery. He's someone who's been trying to change his life, and he's someone who falls back into old habits. But in doing so, he's gained a whole new perspective, and he's become a better man because of it. He fell back, he had a relapse, and the old him wouldn't call me. He wouldn't tell me about it. He had a couple of relapses, and he called me, and I couldn't have been more proud of him for taking accountability. Like that was one thing. Yeah. But my daughter wanted him to come to her graduation party, and the reason being was she just... sorry, I'm trying to find this text real quick. But it was one of those moments I couldn't be more proud. So... this friend of mine, I'd sent him a message about her grad party. He said, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. It's going to be a little hard for me to get there with everything. And so my daughter wanted to send him a text. And this is the text she sent him. She goes, hey, I'm just glad that you're on your feet and taking care of yourself. I hope I make it through this. I might cry. I'm glad you're on your feet, and I'm just glad to hear that you're taking care of yourself. For me, a grad party is more about celebrating with the people who have helped me get to this point and grow as a person, rather than the money or the gifts. You're one of those people. See, you hear my voice cracking. You're one of those people, which is why I would love for you to be there. But if you can't make it, I completely understand. It's good enough that you're just doing better. Mm-hmm. It's good enough that you're just doing better.
Yeah, and so why? Talk to us about why that hit you so hard today, and why it hit you so hard last week. What's the underlying?
And why it's hitting me so hard right now? Yeah. Because I've raised my kids to realize it's not about money. It's not about presents. It's not about gifts. It's about doing something bigger than yourself. Being there for someone. This man has struggled through life. He hasn't had a bad life. He's had a great family to surround him. He's just unfortunately made some choices that took him down a path that it's hard to get away from. And to have my daughter tell this man that she knows that she doesn't care about the money, that she just wants him to be there because she worked with him for a summer, and she's just happy that he's on his feet again and not sitting in a rehab facility. He's not out drugging all the time. He's not wondering where his next meal's coming from. He's home. He's finally made it home. And to me, that's just proof. That's proof that my life has changed for something better, and it's become more positive because I've changed my perspective.
And had you not done that, who knows where I'll just say this.
I already know where I'd be.
Where your family would be, right? So
I know where they'd be. They'd be living with their mom, not getting this kind of advice, and wondering why their dad chose alcohol over them. That's where they would be.
But you're not here today. And again, you decided to find the joy in your life. And again,
and I find it continually. Like, I mean,
well,
this moment is just one.
Yeah. Right.
Like,
you probably got a list, of course.
And I've showed you a few of them. My
Yeah.
daughter posted something on TikTok that every time I hear the sound, the music alone, I just start crying. And it's a picture.
Collage, yeah.
It's a picture of her and her sisters, and it said, "These three girls." Screw y'all. This is a day that you get to see the real me. Why do you have to bring up these topics,
Hey, man.
Dang it!
God put them on my heart, or on your heart, I should say.
It's good. No, it's a TikTok, and it's a picture of my three daughters, and it says, "These three girls will be happy to know that one day," and you scroll to the next one, and it's a picture of me and my two eldest standing there getting ready for a homecoming dance. Then it's another picture of me and my eldest, and then it's a picture of my ex-wife and a picture of their stepdad. And throughout that collage, it says, "These three girls would be happy to know that not only one, not two, but all three of their parents choose them over addiction every day." And, you know, a song that really hits home for my kid, and if y'all haven't heard it, I know it may sound crazy, and it's by Eminem. As crazy as that is, here I am talking about God, and in the next sentence I'm telling you to go listen to Eminem. But it's his song to his daughter Haley, where he is apologizing to his daughter for missing her first concert, for not being there for the birth of his grandchild, for not being there the day that she got married. All those things he missed because of drugs and addiction. And you play that song around my eldest, and I guarantee you, you will see tears. Because every day,
Come on.
every day she's beyond grateful. Every day she is grateful that her parents continue to choose them over alcohol. Because she knows not many people are that lucky.
Yeah, that's right.
That not many people have parents who have the strength and ability to persevere through something and choose their children over themselves.
That's right. And again, there's a ripple effect right there. Everything Josh laid out, right? And the impact that you've had on your girls, you know, on your wife, ex-wife. I know that she's just recently.
Yeah, a year. She just celebrated a year.
A year clean. Josh kind of pulled her in that direction. Again, she had to make that commitment herself. I don't know her, so I shouldn't really be speaking.
No, you're good. And you're speaking candid, and I've actually had discussions with her and told her that this stuff is going to be out there, and I'm going to talk about our lives, and I wanted to know if she'd be okay with it. And she said, "I'm fine with it." Yeah. She's a proud recovering alcoholic too. I mean, if you find an alcoholic that's in recovery or an addict that's in recovery, that's truly in it, you find somebody who's got gratitude beyond measure. Because I can tell you right now, I don't deserve to be here. We don't deserve anything. I've done nothing good in my life that deserves me the ability to be in this life right now. I should have died that night. 2 fists of Crown Royal and 162 miles an hour on a sport bike. Most times people don't walk away from that sober.
And you understand that every day now is a gift, and you've taken that gift each and every day. You've taken the time and the commitment and the work to find that joy, because it took work to kind of get you back there.
It took a lot of work. It wasn't like I just got sober and woo, I'm happy, because it wasn't.
And again, we've both been in very dark moments in our life where it just took a lot of time and effort to get back to kind of where we are today. But understand that there's a bigger purpose for your struggles. if you can get on the other side of it, there will be a ripple effect that you will see, and it'll all come back in the form of love and gratitude, and I'll just say it for Josh, look at what God's done in my life, right? And because I know that's been your foundation to kind of get you back to where you are today. And again, you said it before in other videos. You and in the Josh phrase, you and God didn't have a good relationship, you know.
Me and him were like this. Me and him were butting heads daily.
but it's different now. And again, Josh, I appreciate you sharing today. And again, our channel, Finding Hope in a Suffering Society. Again, we're here to let you know that we love you and that you're not alone, but most importantly, to help you find the beauty
in the darkness.
And we'll see you in the next video.